Alaska, a land of breathtaking beauty, where nature reigns supreme. But beneath the surface, something else stirs. Ancient whispers carried on the wind, shadows that dance in the moonlight, and encounters that defy explanation. Tonight, we venture into the heart of these mysteries, where the line between the real and the supernatural blurs. Are you ready for the unknown? Hello and welcome back to the show. I'm Kisruq and Qituvituaq.
And I'm Qituvituaq.
In Alaska, we have a favorite pastime of gathering around and telling our creepiest ghost stories. Ijiki, who wants to tell ghost stories? If you already don't know, Ijiki means scary in Inupiaq. Today, we'll be talking about some strange paranormal events that happened in my village, at the gym, and the local clinic. So our first story comes from the Ijiki Facebook group, and a member from my paranormal group shared a picture with me to put on the show. She commented this picture and she said they watched it for a while but didn't want to get any closer. I'm going to airdrop it to you.
That shadow?
Do you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. For those of you listening on the podcast, it's a picture of an area outside near a tree line, and it appears to be a long, skinny shadow in the distance near the trees. I'll have the picture posted to the Ijiki group on Facebook. What do you think?
What did she say about it? Because it just looks like it looks dark, like darker than anything on the whole photo. It's like pitch black, but it's in the foreground a little more, so that's weird. But there's no information. That could be a black pole. Like, what'd she say it did?
She said they watched it for a while, so I'm guessing it appeared.
Did it move, or?
I have no idea.
It's really dark. Is there anything else near it?
She said they didn't want to get any closer.
Did they say it felt creepy or something?
I'm not really sure. I think it's strange.
Hard to say. Hard to say because if they didn't see it move or anything, then if it's just stationary black object.
We have another submission, and this person told me, back in January, me and a friend seen something with white fur come running up to the highway and watched us drive by at night. It had a skinny neck like a horse, but had a head like a wolf.
A skinny neck like a horse?
Mm-hmm.
So a long neck, they mean.
A long, skinny one, yeah. Are wolves shaped like that? I've seen one wolf, but it was from far and they are so fast.
Wolves kind of have thicker necks and horses have longer necks. If you look up a photo of a wolf and a horse, so wolf's kind of bushy and thick, like a dog.
Mm-hmm.
So horses definitely have a lot longer necks.
Yeah.
How big did they say it was?
They didn't say.
They really need to give more details when they give, because we don't know if it was the size of a dog, if it was the size of a cat, the size of a moose. That's a pretty important detail.
If it was wet, could it look like a horse's neck?
Wolves get about almost 3 feet tall, 2.8 feet tall. And horses could be like 5'7", 5'8", so quite a bit taller.
They said it came running up the highway and watched them drive by.
And it had a wolf head?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, all four, so like a wolf with a long neck?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how big it was, because that could be like a dog man. Okay. Try looking up dire wolf on your laptop.
Okay.
They are very large wolves with kind of build like a hyena, where the back is short and then the front is long. It kind of gives it the impression of a very long neck, kind of like because the neck seems to keep going from beyond his shoulder blades, like behind his shoulder blades even, because his neck is so thick and long. But did they say it was a thin neck or?
long, skinny neck.
Direwolves have thick necks. Unless we're wrong about them. But it looks like they have longer necks, though. Too bad they didn't give a size. That would have been helpful. So, either a dogman, like a wolf man, or some kind of shapeshifter or something. Because that sounds really weird.
Also, if it was a regular wolf, they would have ran away long ago instead of watching them drive by, right? You'd think?
You never know. Sometimes bears will sit there and watch. I think it's the same for any animal. They might just be in a not caring mood. It's kind of random. Like I've drove by bears that would take off, and other times they'll just look at you or charge you.
Well, the only time I've ever came face to face with a bear, like 8 feet apart from me, is because it was on the hunt, and all it did was just turn around and stare us down like it was wondering if it should come after us or not. And so my aunt in the car behind us, she blared her speakers and got it to run away.
Dang, that must have been scary. Well, if they think horses have long, skinny necks, they kind of don't. If you look at horses, they're kind of thick necks. They're longer, though.
Definitely longer.
Way longer, but
They're skinnier, I'd say.
they're just not stocky.
I wonder what they saw.
Like a skinny neck, I'd think like a giraffe. That's a skinny neck.
Yeah.
They say they have they have long necks compared to dogs, an herbivore neck, but why would an herbivore have a wolf head? Hard to say with that one. Inconclusive, not enough information. But definitely either a strange wolf like a dire wolf or a dogman or shapeshifter or something like that. It's the only thing I can think of.
Who knows? So our next story is one that I heard growing up, and in the 1990s, a group of high school seniors celebrated their graduation with a trip to Pilgrim Hot Springs, Alaska. Using the old church building next to the springs as a changing room, they were hanging out waiting for others to change. So they decided to take some pictures, like for the memories to look back on. Later, a photo taken of the group revealed a creepy surprise. Clear apparition of a nun standing amongst them.
So ghostly, did they have the picture? Did they show it to you?
No, I've never seen it, but I'm pretty sure it's out there.
I've heard of similar stories like that and saw pictures like that on like Facebook and stuff.
So, how could that even happen, and how would they not even see the nun? And the building they're in, that's a church that was used for an orphanage, so there were a whole bunch of nuns there in the past for the 1918 influenza epidemic.
Damn.
That's actually where my grandmother was brought after her parents died from the influenza epidemic.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So basically a ghost nun caught on camera, but you don't have the picture?
No. I've heard about it. And I know those people, so it has to be real, right? Oh, speaking of weird pictures, one of my friends' birthday party when they were turning 9, they were taking a big group birthday party picture, where the little kid is by her cake, and then there's her friends and her family with her. They were looking back at the picture they took, and there was a little girl with her dog, and it appeared that the little girl was smiling, and so was the dog, in a dog way. And nobody's ever seen that little girl before. They've never seen that dog. They didn't see him at the party. They've never seen him in the village in Teller.
Did they show you that one?
No. But I know the people for sure.
Okay.
I believe them.
Dan, should have told him to send it to you. Take a picture of it or something.
Honestly, I'm really shy to ask.
Oh.
I really should ask one of these days. Okay, I have another story, but this one comes from my cousin from a different village. When my cousin was going home from berry picking in the country, She came across a strange sight. Her friend found a line of berries that were skewered onto a blade of dried, hard grass. The berries were brought all the way to the base of the blade. When she posted it online, a bunch of commenters said it's the little people's way of telling them that it's their spot to pick and to stay away from that spot.
Oh, I've seen this picture before.
Mm-hmm.
So where was that?
I'm not really sure if I should say where, but
What village?
Brevik.
Okay. It's not like anyone would know anyway. Brevik in the mountain. And the third mountain to the left from the main tower. No one knows Brevik except for the people who live there.
Okay, so she took those pictures, and as she was going home, still, she posted the pictures right away, before she even got home. My aunt commented on her post saying, there's stories about finding berries in a pile or something like that others like Ishigaks, little people or other beings on our country who put those there. It belongs to them. We need to respect that. And somebody else commented, probably a sign, don't touch my spot. And then my aunt commented again, not scary. We share this land with them. Respect them.
I would have ate them. Wore them as a necklace.
You would have been gone before the night ended.
No. They'd probably be like, I like this guy. He can have them. He's funny.
But you'd probably have to stay with them forever. Another commenter said, one year we found a pile of berries when we went picking with so-and-so in my family. Was told not to touch them and keep a distance from them and not to pick them up. Another commenter said, if you go to the same spot in a few days or week and they're still there but dried up, then the Ishigaks must have seen you and moved to a different location. They used to just let them be and not disturb their gatherings or homes so they won't take stuff from their camps, because if you take from their piles, then they'll take from you. So I guess when they would find like little people homes, what people would do back then was grab a stick and use it to destroy the home so they could move out of that area. They would use the stick and take the stick home because they say that the little people can find your scent and mess with you.
Wouldn't they be able to smell your footprints like a dog?
I don't think so.
Huh.
Like crime scene, kind of like.
Yeah, dogs just follow trails, like bear trails, human trails. Dang, they must have found little people homes all the time back then, huh?
Yeah, they're still finding them nowadays.
Really? Where at?
My dad said at the base of a mountain. My uncle was out four-wheeling and he was going to go hunting, and he was going to go find some logs for firewood, and he came across a little person home. And next to the little person home was, you know how when people are saving firewood and they stack them up?
Mm-hmm.
In that pretty looking circular pile.
Mm-hmm.
He said it was just like that, but tiny.
Weird.
Like it was saving it up, and he didn't touch it. He just got out of there. He booked it.
So kind of like a mini version of a full-size house?
Yeah.
What kind of house did he say it looked like?
I don't know.
Oh.
It was just all that my dad could tell me.
Interesting.
Okay, moving on. The next story. While at my dad's house, my sister's boyfriend witnessed an unusual sight from the back windows overlooking the tundra. 3 small orb-shaped lights, each a different color, red, blue, and yellow, were moving around erratically, seemingly shooting each other with little shots of light.
Mm-hmm.
And he said it seemed like they're playing a game, like pew pew pew.
Little UFOs?
Little tennis balls of light, 3 different colors.
How high did he say it was close to him or real far away?
He was in my dad's house looking out the back window.
Uh-huh.
And you could see the tundra, and there were 3 small lights. And they were
Oh.
shooting at each other like they were playing a game. Pew, pew, pew.
Kind of like Star
pew.
Wars?
Yeah. And
Weird.
like they're having fun. And then he said after maybe 5 minutes, they all converged into one ball and flew off.
My mom back in the 70s was watching the sky with her husband. And she said she saw 2 UFOs in the sky. One shot the other one and it exploded, a huge explosion in the sky. And then it flew away.
Weird.
So that wasn't anything like that one, but similar in the sense that they're shooting each other.
That one sounds more like a war, and this one is like a playful, like little kids, you know, how little kids play games like that. Yeah.
That was here in Nome,
Wow.
out in the country during the winter.
Weird. Maybe they're training?
Blowing one up for training? Maybe.
No. No, I mean the smaller ones. Maybe it was practice. Who knows?
Maybe it was little people in the... Well, if they're that small, it's hard to say. You also hear UFO stories of them merging into together, balls of light. Maybe UFOs or something else. I even heard stories of little people. People said they're getting chased by orbs, and then the orb stopped, and a little person came out of the orb.
Weird.
But it was a big orb, wasn't it? It was like a 3-foot orb.
Also, don't you think little people like procreate and maybe they're really tiny? Have you ever thought of that?
And I also heard about... You mean little people?
Yeah.
Wait, let me Google something.
Based on how tall human children are compared to adults. If adults were only 3 feet tall max in height. If the ratio was the same, how small would children be for 3 foot tall humanoids?
So according to ChatGPT, if you cut the ratio down for an adult, so adult humans to children, their children from ages 1 to 2 would be about 1 foot 10 inches tall. So that's a lot bigger than a golf ball. But there's stories of Bigfoot and little people and orbs of light in the woods. So it's kind of hard to say like how that's all interconnected. And if you listen to stories about Skinwalker Ranch, they talk about orbs of light where wolves and stuff come out of them.
Weird.
So maybe a form of transportation, and has the size of the orb doesn't really inhibit mass or something, or some kind of marker, or just what we could see for some kind of weird transportation. Hard to say.
It's just like that one orb of light that visited my dad and his brothers at Ptarmigan Point, and it flew away and then it came back like it was observing them.
Yeah, hard to say what... I mean, it could be anything, because you couldn't see the physical form of it, and you could just see orbs of light, but it seemed kind of like it was doing a display for them.
For my sister's boyfriend.
I mean, why would it go right in front of the window and do that?
No, it was on the tundra behind the houses. It was
Oh.
like a line of houses in my dad's neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
and they all overlooked the tundra.
And what colors did you say they were?
Red, blue, and yellow.
Interesting.
Yeah, they were all shooting each other. There was little shots of light shooting at
And they all merged into one thing.
and flew off.
Kind of like Star Wars-ish.
He
I don't
said
know.
it seemed like they were playing a game.
Weird. You probably got that vibe from them or something.
That would be so trippy to see. So here is another story, and it comes from a small village northwest from Nome, Alaska. During an annual Eskimo dance festival in a small Alaskan village, the final night known as the grand finale was underway. This is where Eskimo dancing goes from like 6 p.m. all the way, and they try to dance and sing as long as they can into the next day, however long they can stay awake. And this lady was gonna go to the grand finale. As she was walking to the gym, she could hear the Eskimo dancing going on through the walls of the gym, and As she approached the gym where the festivities were taking place, just before reaching the door, she caught sight of a small man dressed in a fur parka. The little man looked at her and told her, "I'm just listening."
This was in Wales.
It's not known what happened next.
This was in Wales, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Weird. Yeah, I heard about this one. Also heard of people in St. Mike saw a little person, they chased it, and it went under a church, and they couldn't find it after it went under. It like jumped under the building.
Maybe it has a portal there.
It was like 2 feet tall, though. And then another story about little people in St. Mike, they could hear baby crying in a cave, and then they saw a little person dressed in fur running around. It was like it had a cave underground, and it had a baby. And it was stealing food from people.
It took somebody's baby?
No, it was the little person's baby.
Oh, weird.
They could hear it crying at night. And they'd see it running around and stuff.
Dang. That's crazy. So in our next story, this happened in Teller at the gym, which is located in the school. Years ago, my sister's boyfriend worked as a gym director at a small village school. His job involved opening and closing the gym, cleaning up and locking up at night. One evening, he was finishing his duties while his friends were waiting for him so they could hang out afterward. Just as they were about to lock the gym, they saw a massive figure duck out from under a classroom doorway into the school's hallway, and then it ducked down and entered a different part of the school.
Did they describe the figure?
No.
So they're just like, massive figure.
Yeah, it was a big person. Tall. It was tall.
They should have gave details like, was it wearing clothes? Was it black? Was it furry?
I really need to interview people.
Because that really matters what it is. It's like a Bigfoot or a hairy man or whatever.
No, they said it was a human person, just super.
A giant?
Yeah.
Okay, where was this? Teller?
Yeah.
I heard a lot of stories in St. Lawrence Island about giant sightings, but I didn't know if people saw them in Teller too.
Could they be living among us and wearing modern clothes and just being elusive?
Well, in Savunga, they have a burial site of a 15-foot tall giant that the skeleton is still fully intact. They said it was friendly to the people there because his dad trained him to not harm humans.
Aww.
But it was playing with a seal that it caught, and it was still alive, and the seal bit him, and his toe got infected from the bite, and he died from it back in the 1700s.
Damn. That's
So the skeleton's still fully intact there in a stone burial, 15 foot. The guy who told me said that when they took the skull out, it was big enough where you could actually wear the skull like a helmet.
Dang.
And that's huge because the openings, like for my skull, is like that big.
Wow.
So the opening for my skull is only like that. You know, where my spinal cord goes through. Yeah. So that would mean a spinal cord would have to have been as wide as a person's head.
Dang.
Which is pretty damn wide. And to put it in perspective, I'm 6'2", and if something was 15 foot tall, I would be shorter than its waist, because that's not even half his height, his legs, so his waist. So I'd be somewhere around his quads,
wow.
A little above his knee, and I'm 6'2".
That's so crazy.
That's massive.
I googled and it said Mr. Robert Wadlow was the tallest man in the world. He was 8 foot 11 inches.
That's huge, but 15 foot is freaking massive. Imagine me only being a little taller than someone's knee.
Damn.
Like, I wouldn't even be the size of one leg. Their leg probably weighed more than me. Solid muscle.
That's crazy. I can't even imagine that unless you...
You'd probably be up to his kneecap.
Nope.
That's why they would eat people, because they're so huge compared to us.
Could just pick us up.
Yeah, their hands would probably go from... Well, a giant's hand, if they're that big, would probably completely engulf half my body.
It's kind of like an orc. No, not an orc. What were those big globby mountain Oh, a mountain troll picking up a hobbit.
But I heard they looked a little more humanoid than them. They look kind of monstrous, like ogres. These ones look like giant, like primitive people. And a lot of the old Inuit stories said that they're kind of dumb. But they were good at magic. They were good at magic and shamanism, but they weren't so good at deduction and logic and reasoning.
Whereas the little people are mischievous,
Clever and fast.
Yeah.
Which kind of is weird. You'd think with such a huge brain you'd be intelligent. I guess brain size isn't really a determining factor for intelligence. Maybe calculating power, gray matter, but not actual intelligence.
This wasn't the only strange occurrence at the school. There had also been sightings of a ghostly woman with pale skin and long black hair seen in the school. The same one the giant was seen in.
Damn.
So our next story is another one that I've heard in Teller, and this happened to a medical worker staying over at the clinic, the new clinic. We just got a new one built. Medical professionals often stayed overnight at the local clinic to provide essential care, like 24 hours. One night, a lone female medical worker was assigned to the Teller clinic. The clinic has a guest room with a bunk bed where she settled in for the night on the lower bunk. In the dead of night, she awoke abruptly. To her shock, she saw two pale legs dangling from the top bunk. As if sensing her gaze, the legs seemed poised to jump down. Terrified, the woman pulled the blanket over her head. After a moment, she cautiously peeked out again. The legs were gone, but as she glanced towards the door, she caught a glimpse of them disappearing into the wall.
What did they look like?
Pale white legs. Human legs.
So like a ghost? Weird.
Something.
That's weird. That's creepy.
But why would it be sitting on the bunk bed? It's a brand new clinic.
Some kind of creature that had the ability to go through walls. And it was just messing around or going in that area. She said they're real pale.
Pale, yeah.
I think it's funny. A lot of people assume that the pale means bloodless, like a corpse, like a dead person or whatever. But I don't think it has anything to do with that. Because shadow people are black and they absorb all light. So electromagnetic frequencies are being absorbed. And people often say they're cold. So it would obviously be a byproduct of something absorbing electromagnetic frequencies and energy. So if it's appearing to be gray, which a lot of people say a lot of these things look, what if it's because it's in a certain state of matter that only reflects certain wavelengths of light? And the reason why it looks that color isn't because it's deathly. It's because it can't reflect other colors or it's absorbing other colors. Because like a green leaf is green because it's reflecting the color green, but it's absorbing all the other spectrums. So why would something look gray? So theoretically, there might be some kind of scientific explanation if it's not fully in this reality or not fully in this dimension, for it to appear a certain color because of the state of matter or where it's at and the interaction with light it has. Instead of like, oh, it's gray, therefore it's creepy. It's dead skin, it was dead.
When we heard that story, we just kind of assumed it was the ghost of maybe a corpse, because at the clinic where the bunk bedroom is located, it's on the other side of the wall is the morgue. So we just kind of made that assumption.
Honestly,
but we were just in high school. So.
Honestly, though, it could have been a spirit or a ghost, but that doesn't discount what I said. Like, the reason why it's that color, because you always hear stories like La Llorona and like of ghostly figures. They're always wearing white. Like, okay, you're going to wear white because it's in fashion in the spirit world? That makes no sense. I think it has more to do with what frequencies of light it can reflect and what frequencies of light it absorbs. It's a clue.
Not all of the ghosts were white, though, but
a lot of them.
Yeah.
You hear it in a lot of stories. So I'm thinking that the color, the gray skin, that you always see it. You watch paranormal videos, gray face, gray skin, and shit. And it's like, oh yeah, it's gray. You know, it's just because the blood drained. It's a vampire. It's deadly. It's a dead creature. It's a corpse. I don't think that's the reason. I think it has something to do with another reality or another dimension and how light is reflected because of what state it's at. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kind of like shadow people absorb all frequencies of light for some reason. Ooh, it's black. It's evil. It's black. It's absorbing light.
That's the one thing we have to remember.
It's like a black hole.
Dark black shadows do not equal evil.
So if you're in Star Trek and you see a black hole, you see, like, let's say you're flying in a spaceship and there's a hole absorbing all light and it's like super black. It's black, therefore it's evil. Evil. Look, it's black. That's how stupid it is. It's so stupid.
But seeing that shadow, that dark shadow in your home, mixed with the weird paranormal feeling, it's natural for us. Maybe not for you to be scared.
I mean, it's natural to be scared of the unknown.
Yeah.
But at that same time, having a knee-jerk reaction to something you don't understand and a fear reaction is indicator of how immature humanity is. Because how are we going to make first contact with aliens if we think everything's evil because we don't get it? Because it doesn't make sense to us. And we just automatically jump to evil conclusions because, oh, it's black, therefore it's evil.
I really like your take on that because I've always been taught to, like, be afraid of little people, be afraid of UFOs, be afraid of Bigfoot. And I remember when my sisters were telling ghost stories and they were telling ghost stories about little people up the river and how maybe they followed us home back at Teller. And I cried so hard and my dad had to, like, convince me, like, they won't come here and take you. You're safe. You're okay. Like, I was so afraid. But now that you say that, I think of them as people. They can be good, evil. They can just think it's hilarious.
I think the mere fact that we assume everything's evil because of the feeling or the look makes them not want to interact with us because it's like, hey, these people aren't mature enough. They're not there yet in order to accept that there's other forms of life or whatever. They're just thinking everything's evil that they don't understand.
I really like that way of thinking. It's very open. So here are some things to remember when you're out in the country. Always carry bear spray in Alaska. Don't touch strange berry-related piles unless you're cute. And safety first. Now it's time for a laugh break from the scary vibes. So I have a screenshot here. It's of an X, the new tweet. It's from @CynicalTherapy1, and this person said, I like eating nerds because I'm secretly hungry for aquarium gravel, and this just takes the edge off. I will never eat nerds the same again. Don't forget to check out Q's channel. It has really cool theories and videos about paranormal creatures like little people and shamanism. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. Be sure to give us a review and subscribe for more creepy ghost stories. If you'd like your stories to appear in the show, email me at doyouwantatellghoststories@gmail.com or find me on Facebook at Ijiki Who Wants to Tell Ghost Stories. Until next time, this is Kisruq.
And this is Qituvituaq.
Bye.